It's been a while since I checked the project midway, but I decided to come by because of the permitting delays so that we can make sure that everything's ready for the finishing touches and there's no more delays. And this living room is really turned out really good with the high ceilings and the beams. We decided to keep the beams because they really are a nice feature. And this fireplace is so gorgeous with the intricate details, and we're very happy to be able to keep it, and I think the next buyer is going to love it. And then we go across the entryway to the dining room. It's of a really good size. I think here we only had to replace the windows and we're replastering the whole house, which makes a huge difference because the paint was peeling off so badly. It was just really unsightly. And this is a breakfast nook, which is pretty unusual. We don't see a lot of this feature in other homes, but here it's right next to the kitchen. And this kitchen was probably one of the biggest change we've made because it was so cramped before with the fridge on this side and then a doorway going to the downstairs basement. So it was practically like half of the size before. And we were able to relocate the doorway to downstairs basement to the other side so we could use this whole room now for the kitchen. So that's going to be a game changer because nowadays everybody wants a bigger kitchen that can have multiple people cooking inside at the same time. So I think I'm really looking forward to how it's going to turn out. And then at the same time, we opened up a wall that was here so that the breakfast nook and the dining room and the kitchen are connected now. So we have a way better flow. And let's go to the other side to see the new stairway we built. So I talked about relocating the stairway to the basement. We actually put it right behind the living room to here, which is next to the stairs going to the upstairs. So let's check out the upstairs first. So we have our bedrooms and bathrooms here. And this first bedroom didn't have a lot of changes. It's still the same size with 2 closets, which is so functional. And then we have our bathroom. This bathroom was quite interesting because it had a separate room for the toilet. But then we decided that we don't really need that. It was kind of weird. So we actually consolidated and made it a pretty standard layout. So now we have the tub at the end and then the other fixtures all around here so that we could give more space to the other bedroom. And in the other bedroom, there was the closet over here. So this bulge was for the closet in this room before, but we wanted to give this space to the other bedroom, and that's why we had to use the space from the bathroom over there to create a closet for this bedroom. So now this closet is so huge. It's probably one of the biggest closets for a guest bedroom. And then the third bedroom, which is the biggest bedroom. And now we have this closet over there and then another closet over here, which people love because this is probably going to be the primary bedroom, and his and hers closet is always in demand. And then the rest of the space that we borrowed from the other closet was actually used to create this new primary bathroom. There was no primary bathroom before. So now we have this bedroom as a true ensuite. I think it's one of the biggest value add we could do for this home.
So where does the permitting mainly come in for a property like this?
So we need to get permits for all the work we did, like new kitchen, new bathrooms, and then adding this bathroom, we had to get permits for that. Right now, we are actually stuck at the window replacement. So because the home is older, it's over 100 years old, it's historically designated, so the city is asking us to use some really special windows, but we were not aware of that before. That caused the delay. We are done with this second level. We can go down to the basement to see what we did over there. So these are the new staircase that we added. The old staircase was around here, and it was right in the kitchen that was breaking up the flow. So by relocating the staircase, we made this room bigger as well in the basement. So we plan to use this as a new family room. And then we have the half bath over here. So before, it was really poorly constructed and also poorly laid out. We added more space to it. So later on, if the buyer decides that they want to convert this into a full bathroom, they could still do that. And then at the end, we have the garage. So this was full of junk before, and we were able to clean it all out, and now we have this really good space. It's a perfect two-car garage. So even though we added a lot of living space on the other side, the garage is not affected. So we still have a full-size two-car garage.
So tell me more about the windows.
So the windows, all the windows that were replaced have to, from what I understand, have to have wood frame on the outside, and then on the inside it can be vinyl or whatever. But before, when we were doing renovations that are not historic homes, we were using just vinyl windows. So I think for this home, because of the age, we just have this special requirement. So we need to be able to meet that before we could get the permits approved.
With permitting, what's the difference between one of your newer flips versus like a house like this that's 100 years old?
A lot of times when the home is really old, the city actually requires it to not have much changes on the outside. So you can't do changes on the outside without getting special approval. So if you are like changing the, like adding more windows, for example, or if you're removing windows, these all have to be approved by a special committee, and sometimes it has to go through like special review. So that's what you want to look out for when you are doing historic renovation. So it's advised to talk to the city that the property is in to understand these special requirements before you proceed or before you even purchase the home, so that you don't go in this blindly.
Where could people find that info for permitting?
So you can go first check online. Sometimes cities have information online about historical homes, and sometimes I find it best to pick up the phone to call the permit center, the planning department, to understand what requirements they have. And if they don't have the information, if they can't give you the information over the phone, you may have to go down to the city yourself to get more information. Sometimes when you are there in person, they can have somebody to talk to you just to help.
Has there been any other holdup other than the window permitting?
On this house, it's just the windows. Yeah, but on other houses, there were different holdups. It depends on the scope of work, right? If you're doing a lot of structural work that can be time consuming, it requires a lot of reviews, it requires different departments to approve. So that usually takes a long time, because one department can review the permits and they approve it or give you comments, and then you address the comments, send it back, and then this department approves, and then it sends to the next department, and then next departments can have new comments. So it takes a lot of back and forth, and it can easily just go to a few months like without getting any resolve.
So is this permitting issue ruining this deal then?
It's not, because when I was looking at this deal, I know that this is a historic home. Permitting is going to be kind of special. And then we're also adding square footage in the garage into converting it into living space. So usually when that's the case, I just automatically assume that the permitting will take longer than usual because there's more stuff for the city to review. So I actually budgeted additional time for the permitting for this one. And that's what I do when I have projects where we're adding square footage, we're converting part of the garage, or we're doing an ADU. So I make sure that in the underwriting process, I already accounted for the extra budget, the extra time that it will take. That's how we are not going to let the permitting process ruin the deal.
Have you ever had a permitting process not ruin, but maybe make a deal worse?
For sure, yeah. So if, like for this type of project, I usually budget about 6 months for the permitting to be approved. But if it takes way longer than 6 months, sometimes it can take a year, depending on the city, depending on the process, depending on the people that you're using to get permits. If the architect that you use is not very responsive, then like there would be more back and forth and more delays, and then that can definitely affect your numbers.
So what's the number one thing that you'd say people should know about permitting if they're watching this video?
So the number one thing you should know is the scope of work. Your scope of work is going to decide the permitting process, and you really want to know the city where you are doing work at. Like the city, like each city is different. Every city has their own process, has their own requirements. So you want to make sure that you understand your city, how they permit different scope of work and what kind of timeline they are working under. And sometimes the permitting staff tell you something, but in reality, it's a whole different story. So make sure that you understand the real timeline rather than the timeline that they gave you. So the project is still midway through, and I'm super excited to see how it's going to turn out. And I'm really thrilled to show you the after. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out when we post the after video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions about permitting, drop me a comment below. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.